Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Intuitive Catalyst podcast. I'm Leilani, your host, and today we are joined with the deeply divine, deeply mystical Adrienne Schroeder. Adrienne is a mermaid medicine woman on divine assignment to unlock your fullest potency, to bring your dream to life for our world. She helps modern mystics build holy habits, heal their nervous system, and self-actualize through high-performance coaching, breathwork, and embodied astrology. Adrienne's essence is where the inner child, shaman, and CEO meet to blend all forces of creation for the Most High. As a leader and mentor, her core values are safety, truth, and power. She believes in every soul to actualize their potential in this lifetime and sees your life's mission as an important part of a world we're proud of. And when I think of Adrienne, and we just met, quote unquote, met over Zoom today for the first time, I am filled with this beautiful energy, this balance between the deeply mystical, the interdimensional beings such as fairies and mermaids and elves. And I describe the energy that I see when I connect with her energy as this kind of like sparkling, glittery synth pop magic. And her ability to balance that with the 3D, with the experience that we're having on Earth, this three-dimensional Gaia, Mother Earth, she brings it all together and she embodies it in a way that is deeply catalyzing. I felt it in being in community with her today, and I am confident that you're going to experience some shifts as well. So without further ado, I would love to welcome Adrienne to the podcast. Adrienne, welcome to the podcast. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I feel expanded and lit already, and we haven't spoken in words much yet.
We've spoken for exactly like 8 minutes. And I always do this kind of grounding breath work right before just to get our energies acclimated to one another, attuned to one another. And your path, your guides, it was so fun, like synth pop, rainbow unicorn, mermaid energy. I love it. Fairy energy. And then also like grounded in this like earth money. Like you have so much to give to this world. And I'm so grateful you're here. I'm going to just hop into the first question because I'm dying to know you. I'm sure my listeners are dying to know you after that introduction. Who are you? What is your big work in the world? And how do you source from your intuition to do your work, Adrienne?
I love this question because you start with who are you?
Mm-hmm.
And for me, that's the step that a lot of people miss when they step in the path of leadership. You know, we see the world as it is today, and it's like, yo, I see shit that we got to change. I see shit that, it doesn't exist that I'm here to create. And we almost skip that stop of like, who am I?
Mm.
And loving and trusting and respecting that person the most.
Above all, above the mission, above all of it.
We've been programmed to extract our own life force. So it's giving it and prioritizing it. And that in itself is a revolution. So thank you for the question.
I'm like already feeling like Adrienne, I appreciate your presence and your energy. I came in a little ungrounded. I'm not entirely sure why, but like even just hearing you talk about the importance of knowing and embodying and trusting who we are. Because we are the universe. We are Source God. We are Gaia. We are Mother Earth. We're all of it all at once. Yeah.
We are. And respecting that and having reverence for that and having a fortress around that, which is very important for the feminine, especially. So to answer your question, I am that. Just like you, just like every single person listening. The words that I speak and the energy that I transmit and the frequency that I hold lives in you. lives in all of us. And so who am I? I'm Adrienne. I grew up on a farm in Michigan. I was raised by classical musicians. I mastered that craft. I had a job in that craft. I achieved excellence. And then, through my own path of getting sober, returning to spirituality after harmful experiences in the church, just deepening into this, who am I remembered I'm a shaman. I remembered my mermaid magic. I remembered that I'm here as just like a ball of joy and tools and delight to lead on this planet for New Earth. So this is who I am. And, right now I'm sitting here, I'm a medicine woman and I'm a leader. And who am I? I'm love. I'm courage. I'm joy. I exist in this human body and I'm all of these other things. So my deepest work in the world is I am a guide and I'm a mentor and a midwife of New Earth. And that expresses in many ways. Like I have many modalities. I call myself a life magician because I'm like, yeah, the whole point is we get to make magic with life. And what is that? Creativity. And what is New Earth? It's going to be born from our creativity. So that's because it doesn't exist yet, right? In the 3D. That's my most important work. And I have modalities like breathwork, astrology, high performance, all these frameworks that I've channeled, like blending the holy masculine with the mother, the matriarch. And the third part of your question, like, how do I use my intuition to guide that? Well, it really comes through, I call this my trifecta of transformation: healing, knowledge, and skill. Healing, it's the nervous system reset, so I feel safe, so my trauma and my fear isn't interfering, because that's something that, people ask me all the time, well, how can I tell if it's fear or intuition? And, for me, when I first started on this path, I didn't know the answer to that either. It's very personal, it's very intimate, it's very experiential. I can't tell anybody what it is. Like, first we got to get you to a place of, okay, I'm not in fight or flight and I'm not overly rested and digested, because, there's this whole ease, like, propaganda going on right now, like, let everything be easy, easy, easy. And it's actually incredibly dysregulating to not take joyful action on your dream. When you're feeling that, when you're like, oh, this is amazing, but then you're like, nope, gotta hold it back. Just let it be easy. Just let it come to me. And there's all of these nuances that can block you from your own path to your intuition. So for me, I've done a lot of healing knowledge. I'm constantly studying. I'm an astrologer. I study the patterns. I knew COVID was coming in advance. So that's how I click into divine timing, which, the stars speak to me. But, how do I use my intuition? I build a relationship with it, and I'm relentless in not just listening to it, but obey. I obey the intuition, because my mind will take me on a whole trip, which you may resonate with, the listeners may resonate with, like you get that inner knowing. It's very still, it's very calm, it's very methodical. It lives in the body. Fear exists in the mind, and it's very frantic. And so I just live from that place and I obey. And I've seen way too much in my life to not trust that. Like, I have so much evidence of, like, hey, when I obey, somehow it works out in my favor.
Right.
Even if it's like deeply painful. So, like, most recently, I left Maui unexpectedly, I wasn't planning on leaving at this specific time. And then the timelines just kept changing and unlocking, and, portals were opening and closing. And I was getting the hit like, it's time. It's time to go to the mainland. It's time for transition. And to obey that, I broke my own heart leaving the
Mm.
islands for a bit. It's home.
Mm.
And yet, there's a great big world out here. I'm meant to serve. I'm meant to anchor in different lands. And so yeah, how do I live from my intuition? I'm able to access it. I create space for it. So like silence, digital detox lifestyle. I do a weekly digital detox. I've done it for 5 years. It's one of the most important things I do because the world will drown out your intuition in noise.
Mm.
If you don't, if like, I'm like, I have office hours. I'm having office hours with the divine myself,
I love that.
Yeah. There's so many different ways, but it's like, I am a channel. And I've always been a channel since I was a little girl. I believe we all are channels. It's just like, how can we clean and clear and preserve and protect that, and trust it and just let it flow and let it be fun.
I know. There it is. The fun.
Yeah. So a long-winded answer.
Mhm.
Great question.
No, it's not. I don't feel like it was long-winded at all. I feel like the answer to that question should take time to answer. If we ask anybody, who are you? There's
Mm.
no anyone that answers that simply is either unaware of how expansive and how powerful they are, or they're holding back. Right. And so I feel like that was a perfect response. I have so many questions for you based on that. So, first and foremost, the first line of your bio is you're a mermaid medicine woman on divine assignment to unlock your fullest potency and bring your dream to life for our world. So, there's so much there. And I think the one that I feel I am the most curious about is mermaid medicine woman, because I connect deeply with interdimensional beings. I connect with the fairies. I connect with the elves. And there's a part of me that is like, oh God, can I say that in like a public forum? Because we live in a world that prioritizes what is seen and known and felt in the 3D. And so tell us a little bit about what it means to you to be a mermaid medicine woman and how we can begin to accept the parts of ourselves that crave and yearn for that connection to these interdimensional beings that we may not be able to see with our two eyes.
First, I want to say the reason that there is a discomfort and uncertainty with trusting that is because of how powerful it is.
Mm-hmm.
The feminine oracle has been suppressed for thousands of years. We've been burned for this. If you're listening to this episode, we burned next to each other. I
Oh,
guarantee it. I guarantee it. And it still runs rampant in our world. A lot of it occurs with other women demonizing women who are tapped into this frequency.
mhm.
And so I really just want to preface it with like, it's okay that you maybe don't trust it, that you maybe are scared of it, that it's this like, you know, even the idea that like, really, am I going to say that on my website, like kind of thing. Um,
Right.
That is all founded in a deep, visceral, cellular remembering from the times where it literally was unsafe for you to hold that level of power being connected to the source that is life. So it's really important to just say that and speak that, and your body remembers. This is why the work I do through breath work with my clients and literally has changed my life. Still changed my life this morning, breath work did. Um, because we are resetting our nervous system, we're rewriting history in our bodies, We're clearing that so we can feel safe being tapped into, tuned into, turned on to these gifts, these feminine, oracle, mystical, real. Like, this is the juice, y'all. This is the juice for New Earth. So that gets to be said and shared. And yeah, you're not crazy, you know, and that's what I'm saying.
We are not crazy.
No, no. And there's a reason why it went underground, because literally it was unsafe before. And it's not a limiting belief. If I hear one more mindset coach online say it's a limiting belief, I'm going to flip a table like Jesus, because that shit's not true. And it's causing deep harm because people are being like, they're like mind fucking themselves. They're like, I just need to keep rewriting my thoughts. And I'm like, actually, it's in your cells and it's controlling 95% of your decisions subconsciously. That's why, you know, my clients keep quantum leaping, because we turn this key that unlocks 95% of their potential. And it's like, whoa. And then you're trusting yourself and you're trusting in the messages. And it's like everything comes online. It's like boom, boom, boom. So, mermaid medicine woman. When I was a little girl, okay, I've done hundreds of lifetimes in Lemuria. I've done some in Atlantis, not as much. That's why Maui is my home, the heart chakra of the world. It is the land of Mu. And I, as a little girl in this lifetime, would, you know, you couldn't pay me. My parents would have to pry me out of the water. I grew up in Michigan in the Great Lakes. We had a cottage. I had an ear infection like every other day because I was just constantly in the water, in the water, in the water. I felt so free. I just remember like playing and being underwater and watching the shadows and the sun and just like dancing. And I was, of course, obsessed with The Little Mermaid. And, you know, I got separated from that part of me. And it was really a process of returning. But it's that magic of life. And then the medicine woman is, my Mars, Mercury, and Venus are in Virgo. And then my sun, I have a Leo sun that's conjunct Jupiter, which is why I shine so bright, in the fourth house. And I came here as a projector. Okay, a projector is a guide. I'm here to guide energy. I'm here to guide the sacral beings. Virgo's the priestess. Virgo's health and wellness, connection to the land. It's like this deep reverence for the land. And so that just came to me one day during breath work. Like, you're a mermaid medicine woman, and your medicine flows through how you guide energy, how you know, a lot of what I do with my clients is very intuitive, shamanic. My shaman name is White Earth Star. White is the angelic realm. It represents a time I died and came back when I was 16.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I received a chance to come back because I have a big job, you know. And Earth, I'm anchoring the Earth. The Earth is the matriarch. She is, you know, people ask me what my religion is. I'm like, look outside. That's what it is. And then Star, I'm the bridge between Earth and Star. So we take the visions out of the 5D and we anchor them into the 3D. So to me, the mermaid medicine woman is like staying tapped into that feminine, playful, just like knowing from Lemuria of where we lived from the heart chakra, unconditional love. We didn't even need money because everything was bliss and abundance. And this is why a lot of mystics struggle with money, because it's like, what is that? You know, like all of us priestesses were like, yo, we didn't have this before. Like, I'm confused. And of course, it's like, we could do a whole podcast on that. to me, that's being a mermaid medicine woman, is like staying in the mermaid frequency, the truth of my inner child, the truth of Lumeria, the truth of the element of water,
Mm.
you know? And then medicine woman is, I have specific medicine. I have codes. Like being in my presence is mutative itself. Like I'm here to mutate. So like if you're listening to this, I'm mutating you.
I feel that. I feel
Yeah.
that big time.
And so
Hmm.
that's part of my medicine, and my medicine changes and evolves, and it's kind of like a song, it's like in real
Yeah.
time. It happens through words, through breath, through stars, through just, we bring it back to intuition. I just I know that I'm channeling when I can't remember what I said,
Oh
or
yeah.
if this side of my head like blows open. I'm like, oh shit, we're in this. So
And how does your channeling, what is your gift? Is it clairsentience then because you're feeling it in your body? Are you familiar with the clair gifts?
yeah, honestly, I couldn't list them all off.
Yeah.
I definitely hear things and see things and know things,
Yeah.
and
So
I'm a lot
all of
I'm
them.
with the clairs.
Yeah, it sounds like all of them. So you're receiving information in all of the ways, like through feeling in your body, you're seeing visions, you're
Mhm.
okay. That's so cool.
Mhm.
Okay, so you said so much. And I'm just like sitting here in awe. I feel like I could just listen to you storytell for the entire time we're together. When you said, when you were talking about the feminine oracle and how it's been suppressed, and you said, if you're listening to this, we burned together,
Mhm.
my entire body lit up almost like fire. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
sure it was
Yeah.
like a reattunement to that moment, that moment where we all, where I'm hearing our cells changed. That was a redefining moment for our cellular bodies
Mhm.
and the trauma that we carry within ourselves. And what you had mentioned in terms of like the quantum leaps and the jumps, I just had a conversation with Lexi Bordeaux and very recently, and we were talking about the fact that we have new vessels now in this most recent timeline jump. We have vessels that aren't experiencing the same traffic jams or like competing molecules within our bodies that are keeping us kind of stuck to the matrix or the conditioning of this current reality. And I'm wondering then, for those who are experiencing the shifts and maybe they're going through it now or they went through it a couple of months ago or whatever, by the time they listen to this, I'm curious what wisdom that you have for folks who are struggling with that transition, because there is a layer of grief, I think, with being in the new timeline, right? You talk about new earth, and we can get into that as well, but those of us who are leaving behind old earth, there is a layer of sorrow that I'm feeling into for the listeners of like, I know that we all know we signed up for this. We all said yes. We all said yes to new earth, but there are relationships, parts
Mhm.
of who we are, situations, jobs, careers, just ways of being that we're leaving behind. What would you say to them?
I would say turn to ceremony, turn to ritual, have a funeral.
Oh,
Have a funeral for your previous self and celebrate the fuck out of her.
yeah, a celebration of life.
Yeah, and thank you. I love you. I honor you, and goodbye. We really lost sight of ritual and ceremony and these rites of passage, so I think that can smooth out transition big time. Um, and I'm not even going to say your new life, because it's not a new life. It's your real life. Your real life is going to cost you your old one. And that's something that people don't talk about. They're like, go forward in your dreams. And then you're like, oh, wait, my family thinks I'm crazy. I got to break up with this person because, they're not correct. Like, I'm seeing all these things that I couldn't see before. It's deeply disorienting, and, not a lot of people get it. So it's really important to be in ceremony, love yourself, do the nervous system reset. Like, a lot of people talk about regulating your nervous system. That doesn't work. Regulating is literally, it's accepting the bare minimum for yourself. It's like, I just want to get myself out of fight or flight. I just want to regulate. I just want to get to baseline. And it's like, what if you actually went to the root and reset? And you didn't need to keep regulating, which is another hamster wheel. You can reset from the root. So that's what I would recommend. And I would also say community, positive propaganda. Surround yourself with the witches, with the priestesses, with, the other crazy dreamers who are doing the damn thing. Like, that matters so much. So that's what I would say.
We are finding one another. And I put out a post that went lightly viral that was like, is threads crucial to like our conscious awakening, our collective awakening? Because there's so, I mean, I have about 10 guests lined up on my podcast from a post on Threads. They're all healers, creatives, mystics, witches. And I'm like, how how did this happen? But again, it's like it's time where our new bodies, our upgrades are online, and we're finding one another because we can't do it alone. And we've done it alone for so long, for years now. Those of us who have been cranking and grinding all this time, it's like we have, quote unquote, been doing it alone. And community is such an important part of why we're here, what we're doing.
Pluto's going to be in Aquarius for the next 20 years. It is era defining astrology. We won't see the age of Aquarius in our lifetime. We're the midwives, okay? We won't make it without community. Aquarius is the human ohana, the human family. It is the collective. It is the highest timeline and good of all. And it's a collective built on powerful individuals. So this path of the lonely healer, all of that, it's just a program to keep us out of our full power, because what happens when we come together? We are fucking powerful. We believe, we know, and we make moves, and we stand our ground. Okay? None of that lonely healer shit. Like,
we're done.
It gets to be sacrificed on the altar with Pluto, and Pluto says Pluto is the planet of power. It's the power of it's death and rebirth. So the collective is going through a death and rebirth, and community is more important than ever. So just highlighting and starring that. And Aquarius is the internet. It's innovation. So of course we're finding one another.
Yeah.
On Threads and like through this podcast. And if you're feeling separated geographically, I want you to know that's by design too, because we've all been positioned around the globe for very specific reasons with the land, with people we're meant to impact in our local communities. So you're not going to have necessarily, you might, people on this frequency in your real day-to-day life, and that's okay, That's very Aquarian,
Yes, I'm an Aquarius. I'm an Aquarius sun. And I believe, yes, and my Mercury is an Aquarius also. And so I am like here for everything. And I think that what you mentioned about the fact that we won't see the age of Aquarius in our lifetime, I believe that you consider yourself like a doula of sorts, of like birthing this this new earth, right? Is that?
I guess I've never called myself that. However, that's what we do.
Yeah.
Like, we make shit that didn't
Yeah.
exist. This creation, that's life.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a dream on your heart, that's your destiny. That's your assignment. And not only is it going to make you wildly happy and wildly abundant and wildly just like unbridled joy, unbridled
Like
power.
your path, it's like your synth pop sparkly.
Yes. That's the truth of your soul, right?
Mm.
When we each do that, we automatically are going to make new earth because it's like a quilt. I make my square and it's like amazing, it has my colors, and then you make your square and then we stitch it together, and then before we know it, we have a better world. Which that's what my podcast is called, A Better World.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's a crazy, amazing time to be alive.
It's amazing. And it's also like the word ease is coming back. So you're like, it's not going to be easy. It's not easeful. It's amazing what we're stepping into, what we're birthing. Like we are the ones who are preparing, right? We're preparing the groundwork. We are tilling the soil. Like we are the ones that are ushering in this new world, this new earth that we may or may not actually witness. Maybe we'll see pockets of it before, right? Well, like the baby kicking in the womb, right? Like it's like, okay, we know that it's here, it's coming. And we're the ground, like the groundwork layers, like, and there's something so sacred about that role when I really connect with, you know, it's coming, this whatever D 4D 5D, whatever experience that the new earth is ushering in for us in this dimension, we are laying the groundwork for it. And to be of service in such a way that it might be my child's child that will actually be in this ease in a way that's not easy, right? Like it's not, we're not trying to make everybody comfortable in this new earth, but we are creating a world where those molecules, those competing molecules maybe don't exist in our cells anymore, where the traffic jams that would keep us small are no longer an issue in the same way, right? We're clearing, and I know as a shaman myself, like I am actively clearing lineage, wounds, trauma. I'm bringing forward the power and the gifts of my lineage. I mean, there's so much to be done. And I guess the question that is coming forward then is, as you work with these folks, these healers, mystics, people who are remembering who they are as we're ushering in new earth, what do you want them to know? People are finding you, Adrienne. So what do you want people on the line who are wanting to be that? What do they need to know?
The biggest thing that comes through, especially with mystics, is people have a fear of structure.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like money. You've been taught to fear the very thing that will liberate you.
Mm-hmm.
And so here's the thing. You don't need to know this. You get to know this. You want to know this, and not just know it, but live it. Knowing things doesn't change your life. You got to live it. It doesn't change the world to sit on information, right? You got to live it. And there's so many people with codes and medicine and modalities and technology to share that are spilling it all over the ground because they are unwilling to face what gets to be shifted with structure, with discipline, devotion, habits. Talking about if you're channeling your gifts through a business, that has a level of structure to it. And it's like that daddy energy inside you, that king energy, like, And that's another reason why people have fear over it. Even the word discipline is like so cringy for people, because it's like, when I was disciplined as a kid, it was a punishment, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was incredibly disciplined as a musician. That was a different frequency. Discipline is holy. What I teach my clients, holy habits. They are holy habits. They are reverence. They are self-respect. They are self-love. They are self-trust. It's a deep honoring. Your whole life is a ceremony for the divine. And if you think about like a castle, if you want to have an amazing castle, it's got to have like walls, it's got to have floors, it's got to have doors. Like, that's a big thing that a lot of mystics are missing.
Mm.
And it's like this, like, that's why I call it the ease epidemic, because it's like, you know, it's not going to be comfortable.
Right.
And most people won't do it. That's why, we're not all happy millionaires living in New Earth right now.
I wish.
Yeah, it takes
Yeah.
consistent effort. It's that sacred warrior. And it's not about deleting your feminine oracle. It's like, this is how you back her. This is how you have
Right.
her fucking back. This is how she can relax into her throne when you have the structure to hold her. If you don't have the structure to hold her, which is your gifts, your medicine, your potency, what you're here to create, well, you're going to be SOL, and not just you, but the whole world.
Mhm.
So that is what is coming through. I think there are people listening that really need to hear that.
Yeah.
That's
And
really
it is important. And what is coming up for me is I have actually talked quite a bit about the energy of ease
important.
and how it matters. But when I consider what that actually means to me, it's layered. It's not like, okay, every single aspect of my life, I'm experiencing this like blissful, easeful Lumeria experience, right? It is, and Lumeria, I actually am not super familiar. I've heard the most from you about Lumeria. And what when I think about the last 4 years, so my spiritual awakening really started ramping up almost exactly 4 years ago. It was 4 years and a month ago when I I really started to live into this experience. And I did acquire and experience more ease in being myself, like choosing myself. I experienced more ease in being courageous to step into like my highest path. What wasn't fucking easeful was leaving my husband, leaving my corporate job, leaving a life that I had built and curated with a lot of discipline and a lot of structure. And so it's interesting because those structures had to crumble. I had to grieve that version of me 4 years ago in order to step into an experience that is more easeful, where I don't have all of the cellular conditioning dictating my moves before I even have a chance to think about them.
Right.
And so it's interesting to consider, like, yes, my life has been more easeful, but in the last 4 years I've experienced poverty again for the second time in my life. The first time was when I was a child, and I curated a very conventional life so that I wouldn't have to experience that again. And then I hit rock bottom financially in the last 4 years. And anybody who knows this earth, the old earth or the new earth, knows that financial poverty, and it is debilitating. It is terrifying, and it's not easeful. And yet, where I wasn't experiencing poverty was the abundance through which my gifts were
Mhm.
flowing to me, my intuition was flowing to me, the community that I created by living more authentically into my soul self. Like there, so I think what is coming up for me around this ease perspective or energy is that if we sign up for a life where we are authentically living into our soul path, there will be parts of our experience that are more easeful. And then there are going to be parts that will fucking suck. And it's going to be hard. And there's no other way. This is the way. This is the way forward.
This is the way. And so maybe more than the word ease is easy or
Right.
aligned.
Yes.
Some things that are aligned are fucking hard.
So hard. It's so hard.
And some things that are aligned they just sail into your field, right? However, you carved the path for that.
Right.
So it's very nuanced, but something that I see it so much that it's, it's like orgasm your way to 10K months in your soul business. And it's like, yes, it should be based on pleasure. Like, I don't love using the word should, but it's of your highest good to move toward pleasure than run away from pain. You know what I mean? Most people spend their life running from pain, not moving towards pleasure. And this is why one of my deepest missions is to help as many spiritual women as possible become wealthy, because wealth in your hands changes the world. Money is a neutral energy. It's just like a knife. You could use a beautiful knife, a huge knife, to make an amazing meal for your family, right? Or you could use it to murder someone. We're seeing it right now with the genocide. Where are my tax dollars going? Right now, they're going toward a genocide where women and kids are being murdered. Okay. I'm not fucking okay with that.
No.
So it's, money is a very triggering topic because it's so deeply tied to the nervous system and our survival. And your full gifts cannot come online if you're in poverty. They really cannot. And you get to be fully resourced. And so that's a big part of my mission and my work is like empowering people like you. And like, this has been a huge part of my path as well. It's like, I was a broke artist for years. And then I finally said, you know what? Not on my watch. I didn't come here to live like this. And then I built my first 6-figure business through music and mindfulness. And then, I iterated again. I deepened into this mermaid medicine woman. I went to Maui, and now I'm channeling money through my gifts this way. And yeah, it's more about alignment and refinement. The more you align and refine, the more clear your path will be. I won't say that it will be easy. It will be clear. And it will require less of you because energetically you will just repel shit.
I know. It's so amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's a different lens on the word ease, but I think it really trips people up.
No, but I've actually said, I've said, to seek ease on our soul path or in our experience is not going to be easy, but it'll be worth it. Right. Like there's a big difference between the word. I felt that was, really profound. And I completely agree with everything that you've said. And your message, I just want to kind of like reiterate this. I've seen and heard this from multiple spiritual folks whom I trust. Exactly what you just said, that money in the hands of people with pure hearts and pure gifts and who want to make the world better, truly, in all sense of the word, in all senses of that sentiment, that is what will shift our experience. That is what will shift our path.
Here's the thing. Clean money is the root of new earth. People won't say that because they get all weird about money. And trust me, I know, I've been there. And lovingly, we got to get over that shit
Yeah.
because we have things to do. And here's the thing about the Matrix. I do not respect the agenda of the Matrix. I do not respect the values that it, perpetuates. I do respect the way they organize and hold power with money and resource.
That's the structure, right? Like they're
Well,
so structured.
Martin Luther King said, those who love peace must learn to organize just as effectively as those who love war.
Oh.
This has always been the gap.
Mm-hmm.
Love and light. Let's pray on it. Nope. We got to warrior up. We got to be resourced. We got to do our own inner work to move through this.
And we're doing it.
And we're doing it. We are.
Oh, it's so beautiful. Adrienne, I love your energy. I feel like I could talk to you forever, and maybe we'll have you back if you'll have us.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
I thank you so much for this. I always end with this kind of corny question. I'm going to stop calling it corny. But what is your bumper sticker, Adrienne? And what would you put all over the world if you could? What's the piece of wisdom you would paste everywhere?
Would say be you and bring the joy.
Mm, I love that. You're so divine. Thank you, Adrienne. You mentioned so much beautiful work you're doing. How can people find you, work with you? Where are you?
Yeah, so I have a podcast of my own. It's called A Better World with Adrienne, if you want to get to know me more there. You can head to my website, adrienneschroeder.com. You can figure out all the, click on. For the rest of 2024, I'm really focusing on one-on-one mentorship. So that's where, I thrive in deep dive, like total life, rapid ascension, like let's do it. So that's my main focus. There's other things going on as well that you can see on the website. And if you're on Instagram, I'm at _ I am Adrienne. So that's where you can
Perfect.
find me.
Adrienne, you are such a gift. Thank you for bringing the mermaid medicine. Thank you for bringing the wisdom around money. You're so balanced, and I appreciate all of who you are. Thank you.
Mahalo. Thank you for having me and shining your light and creating this channel. And thank you for all the previous versions of yourself who said yes to yourself and went through what you've gone through on your path. Like we are the benefactors today because of every single choice. So thank you for that.
I'm so grateful. Thank you, Adrienne, and we'll talk to you soon.
Aloha.
Thank you all so much for being here for that conversation with Adrienne. I am still buzzing from the energy that she brings. She is so expansive. Her energy creates so many shifts. I'm feeling the shifts within my own body. Still, hours later, after speaking with her, one of the biggest takeaways that I personally had was this notion that we are here to be doulas, to be the ones who are creating the groundwork, who are laying the foundation for this new earth transition, for the age of Aquarius, right? And there's something really sacred. Again, I know I say this in the episode, but there's something so sacred about that role, not being the ones in the 3D who will quote unquote benefit from being in this beautiful energy, this age of Aquarius, but being the ones who are ushering it in. It's so crucial. It's so critical. It's so important. It's so sacred. And what I am sensing for you all who are listening and watching this as well in this moment is as we are beginning to transition, as we are coming into this next phase of energetic existence, right? As we are transitioning into it, what does it look like for you to have your funeral for the person that you've been, to let go of all of the ways that the old life has supported you and how you have learned so much from being who you've been in service of stepping into the life that is meant for you in this next season. I personally am planning a celebration of life for the person that I've been, and letting go of all of the relationships and the ways of being and the situations and the career, all of the ways that those things have had such a beautiful purpose in my life, and that it's time to release them, to integrate them, to let them go. It is such a sacred practice. And I'm so grateful to Adrienne for all of the ways that she is supporting so many of us in this transition. So if you'd like to connect with Adrienne, which I highly recommend, her energy is beautiful, I can attest to that. You can find all of her information in the show notes. If you'd like to connect with me, you can find my information in the show notes as well. But for now, be still, my friends, and live into your impact. I'm so grateful you're here, and I'll talk with you soon.